stillness and blessings, love and light, health and wholeness. We're going to go into a brief meditation with the mantra of Om. I hope you all appreciate it. Thank you. Namaste. Stillness and blessings, everybody. Love and light, health and wholeness. Give y'all a little bit of lavender. You know, stillness and blessings, love and light, wholeness and health. Stillness and blessings, love and light, wholeness and health. We're gonna try to knock this out, this other part of sustaining power, part 2. With the little light we got left, it ain't long. I do want to give y'all some kind of word for the day. I ain't writing nothing down. I've been busy running all day, but I'm gonna give y'all something, even something you already heard before. You hear me? Learning come through repetition. That's the word for the day. Learning come through repetition, and through repetition, the application of repetition, you will learn that what you put yourself to know. We want to remember we are the ancient people. We will be the ancient people of the future. So in generations of generations to come, we're gonna be the ancients. We need to take that into a deeper contemplation. We will be the ancients of the future. If information is not what you need towards self-improvement and self-transformation, what is it? If information is not what you need for self-improvement and self-transformation, what is it? How may I help you? Appreciate yourself, love yourself, and know your worth. And with that, we're gonna go on off in the ADK loop, law of life, because like I said, I don't want to spend too much time. We're gonna try to knock this all out here in nature, high vibratory frequencies, you know. And we're on page 175 in the ADK loop, law of life, in the section of sustaining power. Yeah, 175, 80K loot law like sustaining power. Towards the bottom. Issuing a decree 3 times is necessary to penetrate the mental, emotional, and physical planes, one for each. We can also call to the presence, or affirm to the presence, or decree to the presence, to charge forth the decrees that we have given once every hour or twice every hour. That means if you don't pray for, and let me break it down. If you don't pray for something, or you don't ask God, or whatever your relation to spirit is for something, what it's saying is you have to give notice to it every hour or every 2 hours. Constantly feed, even if it's just thank you for whatever you already asked for. You have to give it acknowledgement. Keep the energy alive. Keep it present. Otherwise, as life happens, you'll forget that you don't put out or petition for something, and be distracted in what's being the conditions of life happening. When you have called to the higher source, when you have called the higher source into action, be alert. Be alert for promptings. Be alert for signs. Be alert to symbols. Pay attention to your feelings, and then act. An impulse is not always from the higher source. It becomes stronger as you give attention to it. An impulse is not always from the higher source, from your higher self. It becomes stronger as you give attention to it. As you build it, you will be able to wield it. If it becomes stronger as you give attention to it, then it is. But if it doesn't, then it is not. When your heart prompts you to do a thing that is wrong, stand by the warning if the heavens fall. When your heart prompts you a thing is wrong, when your heart prompts you a thing is wrong, stand by the warning if the heavens fall. Premonitions may be a prompting from one's Christ self. Pause for a minute, y'all. As we proceed, premonitions may be a prompting from your own Christ self or higher self, or from a master. When one has a premonition, that does not mean it must take place, but it is brought to your attention so that you can apply the law, transmute it, and avoid unfavorable actions or circumstances. In application for results, there is need of complete cooperation in your feelings to the higher source. See that your feelings follow your attention and your call to the presence. In application, one must compel your feelings to follow the attention. Be sure your heart is acting instead of just your head. Be sure your heart is acting instead of just your head. In one's application, some decreeing is essential as it creates a positiveness as well as records, as well as records it in the ethers. Real application is not just saying words, giving so many decrees. You must feel it, or that energy will accumulate into thought forms which someday must be transmuted. We must watch that we do not get into a state of consciousness just making calls for release of energy, but rather to make a call to have the action carried out. Just decreeing takes one up to a certain point, but one needs to do more than that. We need to follow through. The first is a matter of energy release from the human life without enough love. The second is in making the call, holding the picture, and by enough feeling of love, activating the flame in your heart that gets the response from the higher source or higher self and host of light. When this is or can be done, there is much less calling required, and one can have instantaneous results. Then we should cooperate with it by the outer self in the physical world. This is a lifestyle. When we stop giving power to appearance, which is human creation, we will have results. If we struggle, we will not have results because the attention is on the wrong thing. Give your presence the reins instead of you holding the reins yourself. When you become tense, you are trying through human force to drive the energy. Just an awareness of the presence and of actions of the sacred fire is not enough. It takes application, and sometimes one has to be very dynamic to win one's freedom and gain the ascension. You know, all in life is application, and all in life is energy. We, mankind, has gotten to these very dense conditions. Now, each one has to make some conscious effort to free yourself. Each one of us has to make a conscious effort to free oneself. Never in the history of all the world has there been such assistance and opportunity given as at this present time. The part of wisdom is to take advantage while it is here, as it will not be for so long. Application is the power by which means the law is proved. Application is the power by which it means the law is proved. Application is the way the masters prove the law. Call to your own individualized God self, the I am presence in you. Form habit that the moment you haven't something to do, your attention goes to the presence. Pour love to it. Rest within the presence. You can visualize the presence behind you, enfolding you, or feel its arms around you over your solar plexus. Remember always to remain honorable. Constantly remind the intellect that the presence is the doer. Humbleness does not mean compromise with wrong or human conditions. Humbleness does not mean compromise with wrong or human conditions. It doesn't mean, to be humble does not mean let somebody walk over you. But humility before the presence of life and the great ones. Never justify your mistakes or anything that is wrong. Never be unjust to an enemy. We should not even defend a thing that is wrong. If it is creating inharmony, then it is wrong. When making rhythmic application, the ascended ones will amplify it with their rhythm. Do not yield to appearance world or to the suggestions that you cannot make sufficient application. Don't doubt. Have confidence in yourself. To handle very destructive forces, we need more than the outpouring of love. We need wisdom and power too. When you start application for something, shut out the appearance world. Shut out the outside. Nothing is out there. When you are calling for release from or correction and perfection of a condition and continue to listen to or discuss discordant or chaotic or aggravating conditions, that will annul it. Keep your guard up. Pillar or tube of light and a conscious command that the light transmute all not of light that touches your world. The phrase, you have no power, releases such a current of energy that nothing can stand before it. We can call to the presence of God to make us sensitive to it and its direction. Your call is the open door. Keep reminded that every call that you make to the presence is a power release from your freedom, your victory. Your outer application is the only thing that will make this a permanent thing. Be fearless in the presence of light. Just see its mighty power go before you, dissolving all not of the light. When firm and determined with no unkindness, you can compel inharmony about you to become harmonious. Practice the presence. Call forth, set into action the presence in every detail of your daily life. Accept and expect its response. When a person orders a dog out of the room, thoroughly meaning it, the dog acts. But if there is any feeling of questioning as to whether he will, very likely he will not do so as you say. All decreeing should be done in a firm, positive manner, but not with exertion of human will. Then, when you give decrees, the stream of light from your presence is being qualified constructively. Once you can feel the power of a single decree in its action, you will never be limited. Your victory is in your every call. By the decrees you are setting the greatest law in the universe in motion. In decrees, in making those calls, you gather power. The power of the universe rushes forth at your call. You have this limitless energy every time you issue a decree, you release it. Your presence must have a certain amount of energy released from you, which it can amplify and do the thing that you have asked for. The release of energy through your atomic structure is necessary for the master to have to give protection to you and America. It is not only the call that is necessary, but the energy released from the physical bodies, which makes the connection. It is not only the call that is necessary, but the energy released from the physical bodies, which makes the connection. The ascended ones amplify that energy and use it to fulfill our cause. Why do we give decrees? We have to feel the causal body, and the quickest way is to work for the millions of all mankind. Your call to the present is a signal to release energy. Why do the ascended masters respond to our calls? Because that is the power of our life that is calling. We are now beginning to return to life, something it has given us. We are now beginning to return to life, something it has given us. When you give a decree, while you are decreeing, keep your feelings positive. The world of action is so important. It should follow contemplation. After the cyclic, y'all give me a moment, it's getting too dark for me to read. I'm backing it up a little bit. Well, I can see y'all and y'all can see me now. By the decrees, you are setting the greatest law in the universe into action. In decrees, in making those calls, you gather power. The power of the universe rushes forth at your call. You have this limitless energy. Every time you issue a decree, you release it. Your presence must have a certain amount of energy released from you, which it can amplify and do the thing for you and answer your call. The release of your energy through your atomic structure is necessary for the masters to have to give protection to you in America. It is not only the call that is necessary, but the energy released from the physical bodies, which makes the connection. The ascended ones amplify that energy and use it to fulfill our cause. Why do we give decrees? We have to feel the causal body, and the quickest way is to work for the millions, all mankind. Wholeness. Your call to the present is a signal to release energy. Why do the ascended masters respond to our calls? Because that is the power of our life that is doing the calling. It's the power of life within all man that is doing the calling. So when you speak from that place in yourself, you're not only speaking for yourself, you're speaking for all mankind. We are now beginning to return to life, something that it has given us, if you're doing this work. When you give a decree, while you are decreeing, keep your feelings positive. The world of action is so important, it should follow contemplation. After the cyclic moment passes, then individuals will have to make the effort alone. Now they have the cooperative effort of all of us. The need today in America is to get students who stand staunch, who stand firm in doing this work. The Master Saint Germain said this help was what he has needed for 200 years. Through the decrees, there has been done what has not been done by anything else in 2 million years. And decreeing, when you have understanding and comprehension along with it, brings much greater results. Although one can get results even by just calling and using the words I am, because you are doing it through the presence. When you are doing it from a place of understanding and comprehension, you get much greater results. In 1938, it was said by one of the great ones that 90% of this destructive intent on mankind may be avoided through the issuing of decrees by us, the student body. It is this understanding and application of making the calls, issuing the decrees, that has been required through the centuries. Making I am statements is calling into action the intelligence, the inner intelligence that should act in and through us, and which originally it did. Making I am statements is calling into action the intelligence that should act in and through us, and which originally did. It is not mesmerism or self-hypnosis. Each cell is intelligent, and you are speaking to them to produce or take on perfection. It is through the same procedure that we, by using negative statements, make imperfection, limitation, discord, distress, and so forth. Cataclysmic activities, as well as the coming forth of many marvelous things, has through the past 20 years and still does depend on much on us, on how much we know the law. All who give these decrees are recorded in the light as willing to serve mankind and the world. The opportunities are at hand and are not only the ways and means to purify and perfect ourselves, but to call for and set into action dispensations and activities that will free all mankind. Wholeness. By calling for the many, our calls are amplified and multiplied that many times, enabling us to render a balance in a much shorter time. Decrees are amplified because the presence of each one are all one. Wholeness in action. When an individual renders service to the many, assistance can be given to us that is not otherwise possible, to transmute our own karma and gain eternal freedom. By application is meant to call the presence into action, call your higher self into action daily and live accordingly. Application is a threefold activity. It should consist of reading, studying, and getting understanding, and decreeing, which includes singing. And contemplation and silence. Let me back that up because it sounds broken. Application is a threefold activity. It should consist of three things: reading, studying, and getting understanding. 2, decreeing, which includes singing. And 3, contemplation and silence. We shall use the word contemplation in preference to meditation. We shall use the word contemplation in preference to meditation. Meditation to most people denotes a stillness and inactivity, therefore producing a negativeness. Contemplation denotes a stilling of the physical and outer activities and of the inner bodies, but with a mental alertness. One can have intense inner activity, contemplation. Wait a minute. Contemplation denotes a stilling of the physical and outer activities and of the inner bodies, but with a mental alertness. One can have intense inner activity. Contemplation is action. With that, like, share, subscribe, comment, question. Stillness and blessings, love and light, health and wholeness. If you want to donate, you can donate by pressing the like button. If you want to make a physical donation, my cash app is $SAIWOODAGOD. That's $Sawudagod. Stillness, blessings, love and light, health and wholeness, family. 1.